The 80s was the rock and wrestling, Hulkamania boom period. The 90s and early 2000s was the Monday Night Wars, Attitude Era boom period. What was 2010 to 2019? It was a Vince McMahon tradition. Every year around November you start to build the main event matches for WrestleMania. In 2010, it wasn't the case. With business gradually declining every year, Vince was desperate for a boost. WrestleMania 26 in 2010 drew the lowest domestic pay-per-view number since 1997, with far more star power than what is available for 2011. Panic mode was set, in a last-ditch effort to save WrestleMania 27 from a financial disaster with a Cena vs. Miz main event. Vince McMahon sent Undertaker to a UFC event, to confront Brock Lesnar and try to lure him in for a match. That didn't work as Brock decided to have another fight, keeping him in the UFC for another year. With the usual road to WrestleMania boost not happening, along with the last ace in the sleeve, Undertaker vs. Lesnar not happening. The realization of modern era lows was setting in. Until with one historic moment, one epic return, delivering an all-time iconic promo, The Rock turned the entire industry upside down. In that one moment Vince knew, it's done. This generation's boom period happened between February 14, 2011 to April 4, 2011. One of Rock's most impressive accomplishments was to turn a lame duck WrestleMania that was going to bomb to lowest levels in the modern era, and turn it with his appearance alone as a host, to the highest-grossing pro wrestling event in history. With over 1.1 million pay-per-view buys, making it also the second biggest overall buys in wrestling history. His return led to a string of sellouts not seen in years, with a far better roster, boosting house shows big by almost 40% and leading Monday Night Raw to 7 consecutive sellouts. Once WWE released Rock's new merchandise, WWE Shop, merchandise sales exploded, almost doubling sales per day from 677 orders, to 1,258 orders per day in March, along with 839 per day in May, a whopping 73% increase from the year before. WWE.com received 16.7 million unique visitors, one of the biggest numbers in website history. Television ratings jump a full point, with the first segment on the Raw after his return doing a 4.2 rating, one of the highest first segments since the wrestling peak period. His advertised appearance on the Raw before WrestleMania 27 drew a 4.8 rating, Raw's biggest rating on a regular episode since 2007. With over 7.3 million viewers, making it one of the most watched segments since the height of the Attitude Era. In the UK, the Raw for his return drew the most viewers for a wrestling show since WrestleMania 20, Rock's last match. Survivor Series for his return drew the show's biggest number since 2008 with Madison Square Garden selling out for the event in 20 minutes. WrestleMania 28 for the first Rock vs. Cena match, set records in almost every aspect, due to different sources of revenue, will probably forever be the biggest money event in history. The day after his victory on Raw, with a feeling of celebration in the air, in arguably the hottest Raw show of this era, The Rock announced that his next goal is to be WWE Champion again. Royal Rumble 2013 for Rock's first title match since 2002, drew the biggest Rumble pay-per-view in a decade. WrestleMania 29 for Rock vs. Cena 2, drew the second highest grossing event in history. Rock's 2011 to 2013 return was basically blockbuster after blockbuster, going down in history as the highest grossing run in the history of the wrestling industry. 2010 to 2019 was also the decade especially towards the latter part of it, that Vince McMahon pretty much gave up on the business wrestling side of the company, as he basically turns his only important source of revenue to TV deals. With the wrestling side completely collapsing, due to a talent roster that don't mean anything individually, devoid of any star power and uniqueness, presented in a bland, contrived and lazy product. Vince pretty much threw the towel on that aspect of the company, canceling pay-per-views, viewership at an all-time low, and losing millions on house shows, due to low ticket sales. We're likely to never see another talent-driven boom period, ever again. See you in the next decade.